Okay, and now, Austin,
Yeah.
if it's all right that I use your real name, we are live.
Yeah, that's good.
We are live for Laying It Down with Big D. I, of course, am your host, Andrew Big D Morrow, and we've got Austin System. What's your last name, Austin? I should know that. I think I do.
Harvey.
Duh, God.
Harvey, yeah.
Of course, while I'm trying to think of it, it escapes me. But we've got Austin System Harvey here. You may know him better as just System, North American caster. Austin, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I just woke up like a couple minutes ago, so this will be a fun interview. But yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Man, wish I looked that good when I just rolled out of bed. Good Lord.
Dude, you're flattering me. You're flattering.
Well, it gets you everywhere in this business, am I right?
Yeah, it does. It does. It does.
Well, I'm doing all right. I appreciate you asking. I appreciate you coming on. Me and Austin have known each other for almost, it'll be a year in June. We casted the Priority
Yeah.
Cup. That's where we met last year. But you have been on a very exciting journey as a caster over the last almost year. Talk to me about it, baby. How did you get started doing it?
So I mean, it kind of like it started with that priority stuff. And like we casted that priority tournament, and I remember I was super excited because like I was casting with somebody who had some like level of casting experience in NA. And like I don't know, I was just like so excited. I was like, hell yeah, like I'm gonna cast with somebody who's got some experience, who probably has some connections, and I could try and work my way from there. So we did the priority tournament together, and then literally, I don't even know what it was, like maybe a week or a couple after, like Jared was like tweeting on Twitter. He wanted somebody to cast for one of his advanced teams. And you threw my name in the hat, and I sent him a DM directly. I was like, "Hey, look, I know Big D kind of put my name out there, but I just wanted to reach out and talk to you myself. I've got demos and stuff like that if you want to watch it. I'm not great, but I work hard, and if you're willing to take a chance on me, I'd love to work for you." And from there, it just kind of like I wasn't like I said, I wasn't like really good or anything like that. Like there wasn't anything special about me. I think I just brought energy that people liked, and I think I showed a lot of potential. And again, I think something that like that made me look really good, at least in like Jared's eyes and some other, is that I work hard, right? Like, if you've got games for me, if you got 5 games in a day, I'm gonna be there for all 5 of them. Unless there's like and I'm also a part-time student, and that's another thing that makes this job really hard. Is I've also got a whole nother schedule that I have to abide by. I'm trying to get my accounting degree right now, and they're kind of trying to mix up. But I I like we were talking about this a little bit before the interview, but like sometimes now that I work for European Pro League EPL, not ESL Challenger League, but or well what's it, not ESL, what is it, um
Not ESL Pro League.
yeah, there we go. Not ESL Pro League, European Pro League, the smaller one. But still,
Still
nonetheless,
a pro
it's
league
it's
in
really
the
cool.
best region in
Yeah.
the world.
We're the best region in the world, brother. They're second.
That's
They're
true.
they're close though.
Not number one in
um,
my heart.
yeah, in my heart, we're number one.
Always.
But yeah, I mean, I'll be up at 4 in the morning sometimes casting games. Then I'll have class literally right after that. I'll book it to class. I'll come back. I'll get myself an hour or two power nap, and then I've got NA games to cast. I'm nowhere. I can't do the stream all day thing. Like obviously, like because I've got other things to do. Right, I've got school. I've got obligations like outside of this, so I'm not available to like just sit on the stream all day. And there are a couple people in NA that are some real grinders when it comes to that stuff. And I wish I could do it. And Godspeed to them. But
Shout out Trotta.
I yeah, I was literally gonna. I just didn't know if I was like if I should name drop them yet or whatever. But like
Oh,
Trotta,
feel free. We
um,
we talk about all
yeah,
sorts of people out here.
Trotta is a grinder, man. He is up at 3 in the morning and casting like Asian games, and then he'll cast European games, and then you'll see him at fucking 8 o'clock at night casting NA stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how you do it. Like I physically, like even if I did have the open schedule that he had to be able to do all of this, physically I would be exhausted. I would be absolutely exhausted by the end of the day. I do know his secret though. He drinks a ton of coffee. Um I'm not gonna out him and Joel. I'm not gonna out him and Joel, but I know exactly how much coffee they drink, and it is a lot. They drink a lot of coffee. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, it's a requirement. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they do it either. As I get, I mean, I'm a little older than the average person in this scene, but like I always admire all you guys for being able to put that kind of work ethic into it. And don't I'm gonna loop back around to what you started with. I'm nothing special. Hot garbage here, nothing special. My man, you have got a passion for the game that is really unparalleled because and this is not like your passion goes beyond just I love the game and I can get really excited about it. You genuinely love Counter-Strike and have a really solid understanding of what makes it so exciting, and and that's what has that natural draw. So don't sell yourself short here on laying it down. You definitely are something special. Anybody that watches System can say the same. Um, how did you get started in Counter Strike? Like, what are your earliest memories of Counter Strike, and how did you get hooked into it?
So I was in the Navy at the time, and we all remember the big scary COVID era. And luckily, I was already kind of like an isolationist, I would say. I kind of like to keep to myself a little bit before that. I was a little bit of an introvert. And I just kind of I didn't mind sitting inside all day. So COVID hit and I was like, well, I can't buy toilet paper, so that's crap, but it doesn't really change anything for me. Um, and I remember I went home for Christmas and I got sick. I got sick with COVID. I came back and I was on quarantine. When you're in the military, they put you on quarantine for 3 weeks. So I was sitting in a hotel room, it was a really, really nice hotel room. Like it had a full kitchen and everything in it. And I was sitting in the hotel room for 3 weeks, doing absolutely nothing, sick out of my mind, by the way. The first week was terrible. But my buddy Mike, in fact, this will lead into another story, but I'll talk about that. But my buddy Mike from my first original like gaming friend group got a bunch of us on and was like, guys, let's start playing Counter Strike. We got nothing better to do, right? We're all locked up inside because of quarantine, anyways. So we Austin's sick. He's not working or doing anything. So let's play this game. So for 2 weeks straight, I probably put in as many hours as I possibly could. Like, and I won't lie. Like the first time I played it, I was like, I hate this game. It sucks. It's too like I don't want to put my time into this. And then I played it again, and I was like, fuck. Like I kind of like this game. And then I played it again, and I was like, okay, wait, I love this game. Like this is enjoyable. This is the best FPS I've ever played. And I I remember, like, sitting there, like, at the end of the week or whatever, we were all talking and laughing about it, or whatever, and I was one of the better people in my friend group. I still sucked at the time, but I was one of the better people in my friend group. Um, but I don't remember how this came about, but, I think I just had, like, a rough spout, and it didn't really matter too much because we were just, like we weren't even playing FACE it yet, we were playing Comp. We were all, like, Gold and SEM and stuff like that. Um and I had a bad game, and my friends were I mean, they were letting me have it, and I was sitting there, I was depressed, and I sat there, and I was like, "You know what? I wanna be good at this game." Like, I don't care what it takes. I'm not I don't like being laughed at. I don't like being made fun of. I spent about 8 years of my childhood dealing with that, and it's not something I like, and I I like to do business, right? I like to work. I like to do it in front of people's faces too. I'm like, and I'm not like I am somewhat humble, I would say to myself, but not to people that are like that, right? Like if you're like openly up in my face about how much I suck and how I'm not ever gonna go anywhere or do anything or blah 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 blah. I'm gonna work my ass off to prove you wrong, and then I'm going to be in your face about it afterwards. Like, what were you? What was all this about? Like, you had so much to say, and now you have nothing to say. And so I spent a good year, about a year and a half of my life, dedicating my life to Counter Strike, like straight up. Like when I was not at work, I was on the game, whether it was watching demos or watching pro play or playing games myself. I solo queued from Face It. I think I was level 1 on Face It, and I hit level 10 in about 8 months. I think it was 8 months. I ended up hitting level 10. Um, and I don't know. It's just like I kind of got to a point where I was so much better than than all of my other friends that I couldn't really even play with them anymore. Just because not just like the whole, oh, they don't know how to play the game, they're silver, blah blah blah. I don't mind that. It's just like they didn't want to play. Because we would queue on Face It, and they were like level 6 and 7. We would queue on Face It, and we would get put with like 9s and 10s all the time, and they're like, yeah, we're not trying to try that hard or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's COVID got me started, and then I was addicted from the first week, and then from there it was just, I don't know. Like I wanted to be pro, like I wanted to be a pro player. But I think I let too much of the doubt get into my head, right? Because you see kids like Monacy and Donk, they're like not even 20 yet, and they're like the best things that have ever happened to Counter Strike. And I was sitting here, I was 22, 20, 21, 22 at the time. Like, yeah, I want to go pro, but like I feel like I started too late or whatever, and I kind of just let it get to my head, and I fell off, and I stopped putting as much work into the game. Um, and albeit like I won't be shy, like I'm not like I wouldn't say like I'm like, like Jared level or DJ or like any like an advanced player's level or anything like that. But I would say like on average, I'm better than the average player, better than the average Counter Strike player. Um, but I just stopped putting the work in that was needed to get to that higher level. And I wanted to look for an outlet for my love of the game that would okay. All right. So I'm gonna out myself. I used to be a horrible person. I'll
Uh-oh.
out myself. Yeah, I used to be a horrible person. Not really like horrible, but um, I wanted so bad to be good at the game that like, I mean, I was just angry. Like 24/7. I would pug. I would scream at people. I was angry, dude. I was really
Oh,
really
we've
angry.
we've all been there.
Yeah, but dude, I would do it on the daily. It's not even, it wasn't like a one-off thing. I would just do it every game. I would queue and I'd be insta tilted because somebody did something stupid that I didn't agree with. Um, and I remember, I one of the first teams I joined. It wasn't the very first ESEA team I joined, but it was like the third, I think. I joined an ESEA team with one of my friends, Certs. He actually plays for the Grandy's Knockers NA team in advance now. But I joined. We met queuing in the Flom hub one weekend or whatever. And we joined a team, and he kind of like took me under his wing and like mentored my, I guess, like my behavior. Just kind of like, hey, you can't say these things, or like when you feel this way, you gotta like chill out. He just kind of like he kind of like became a mentor for like my emotions and stuff like that, and really really helped mellow me out. I also started boxing soon after that, so that kind of helped me out as well. Just kind of giving an outlet for my anger. Like I said, my my childhood was not the best in the entire world, so I had a lot of like inner frustrations, not just with other people but with myself built up. And unfortunately, like when I was playing CS, other people were outlets. And it took me a minute to learn that it's not okay to do that. You can't lash out at people, you can't be angry at people. um when half the time they're not doing anything wrong, and even if they do something wrong, it's CS, it's a video game, it's online, right? And none of this matters at the end of the day. I mean, it does, but like not,
In the
they're not
grand scale of
physically. Yeah,
humanity.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. And it took me a while to learn that, but I learned that lesson. It made my life so much better. I was able to play the game and enjoy the game. And then that's after that, I got into like I said, I wanted an outlet for the game that wouldn't make me as angry, I guess. It's like, it's I can't really get angry when I'm casting because I'm not playing the game. So there's no like, I guess there's no like, there is emotional connection, but not like on the level of when I'm playing it. And like I said, now I don't really have that problem anymore anyways. But that's how I got into casting from trying to go pro, was like I wanted something to be able to do. I wanted to have some involvement in the pro scene of Counter Strike, and one that would like, I don't know, maybe like that would, I guess it just wouldn't be as easy to lash out at people and stuff like that. And so I chose casting. And then I got like I said, I got a little mentorship from my buddy, and my emotions got leveled out, and we're all mellow and chill now. So, but yeah, yeah. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. I have like really
I
bad ADHD,
listen.
so
I
I will
told you before this. I
tangent
said
all the
talk as
time.
long as you want to talk.
Yeah, but
I'm here to listen to you. Well, no, and
that
I want to say too, like I I don't know about other casters but I know a lot of players go through that same cycle of maturity in these games where eventually you have to learn, like, especially in pugs, the best way to win those pugs is get along with your teammates. Like,
yeah.
of course you can be better than other players, and there's going to be days where you're frustrated with how bad people are, but like that's how I finally hit level 10 this year after 10 years of trying to grind. Is I was the same way. I was so angry in all my pugs, and everybody was just a hurdle to getting what I wanted, right? And yeah, I just think that being able to switch over to casting really does give you, for me as well, it was just the opportunity to like, rather than getting angry and taking from people, it's my opportunity to give back to this scene, which makes me feel a lot better as well. And that's it. Yeah, that's just a. Thank you for sharing that, dude. Because yeah, one of the other things is I don't think we all know how nasty and vile we can be to each other on the internet from our own homes in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
It's not really talked about though, like, and I think that there is kind of a greater mental health issue to keep in mind as time goes on. But you know, as long as people are growing up and having those maturity moments, like you are, and look how young you are, and still having that maturity moment, and there, yeah, there's just it's a beautiful thing to see, dude. All right, I'm gonna ask you another question here, and
Yeah. Okay.
you better have just as long of a response, if not longer. No, we're
Okay.
not timing anything. What is it that you think makes, like, in your opinion? And there's no right or wrong answer here. What is it that makes Counter Strike such a special, unique thing to you compared to other esports or video games in general, or just competitive anything?
So I'm not somebody that has like a lot of natural talent. I if I want something in my life and I have something in my life, 99% of the time I had to work for it. I was not gifted with being very fast. I'm not naturally very strong. If I want something, I have to work for it. But Counter Strike was something that came really easy to me. Um, like this is why I said like I wanted to go pro, and I think I was on a track to like maybe not be tier one. I won't ever say that I was like on track to like be Donk or Monastery or anything. But
Never say
in
never.
the grand scheme of things, yeah. In the grand scheme of things, in about 8 months, I went from level one to 2500 elo on Face It. And like if I had just kept playing, like if I had just kept playing the game and dedicating my time to it and things like that, I really feel like I could have gone somewhere. But for me, it is just it's something that came so naturally. And that's why casting is so addicting to me, I guess I would say, is because it's something that comes naturally. I talk a lot. I am a yapper. I will run my mouth for hours if you let me. And casting and Counter Strike are two things that combined. They're two things that come naturally to me. They combine into this one great thing that I love. And I won't lie, esports is has really affected like how I look at the game. Like I remember watching my first Counter Strike event. It was during the height of COVID. So it was an online event. And I remember watching. Dude, I think it was Big versus Liquid. I don't remember what tournament it is. It was like some blast tournament or something like that. And then I remember when they came back to the arena for the first time. I remember when there was like an actual crowd. And I remember watching the games live from Twitch from the Flom stream, and just hearing the crowd screaming like reactions, and it was just electric. Like just like I don't know. It's just like I never imagined it could be that crazy. Like you watch football games and baseball games and things like that, and people go insane. And I never once in my life ever dreamed that for a video game people would do the same thing. But then I saw it, right? And then 2 years ago, was it last year or 2 years ago? It was 2024. It was last year. Last summer, I went to IEM Dallas, and that was addicting. That was a rush. Just being a part of the crowd. And now it was also a great event to be at because we had Stewie that joined G2, so we had a little bit of NA. They ended up winning the finals, so it was something special. IEM Dallas was 2024 was definitely something special, but it's that rush. There's a rush that I get from that, from being in that environment, um from the crowd screaming, and I the next time that I'm a part of it, like I mean, I'm going to the major here in in June, but like I want to be a part of it, but I don't want to be the one in the crowd screaming. I either want to be one of the players on the stage making the crowd scream, or I want to be the caster, one of the casters or the host or something that is helping hype up the moment. Like that's what I want. I want to be the reason that people feel electric. Like I like that. That to me is just that is my main goal. Well, I don't care what it is. If I end up being a host, a caster, probably not a player. In fact, I know not a player because I'm not putting enough time into it, and I never will. Not at this point anymore. But I want to be the reason that people get excited and get electric. And I want, when you see those clips online of like crazy things, I want my voice to be in the background, like, holy shit, something like that. Like I want to I want to be the cause, or be one of the causes. So that is kind of what it's just the crowd, the environment, I guess is the short answer to your question. The crowd, the environment, um how addicting it can be to like actually be in that, I guess.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pair it back to you. I have that same feel because I went to Dallas the last 2 years as well, and like it's just I had that exact same feeling. Being a part of the crowd is electric, but I know I am meant to be helping put on the spectacle for the crowd in some way, and we'll get there. We'll get there. I know that for a fact. That's gonna happen. Well, and speaking of this major coming up in June, we saw that Complexity just qualified for it, which is a pretty big deal. And historically speaking, majors alone, last time a major was held in NA, an NA team won, which is big. Uh,
Yeah.
but on top of that, I do feel like NA teams just play way better here in North America. Do you feel the same way? And do you have some predictions that you want to? Do you have a little? Do you have any thoughts on the major coming up here?
Well, we have the last of the MRQs tonight, which only one more team is going to make it. And I think there are two teams that I would really, really like to see make it. Marsborn, first of all, because their CEO is really cool. Kashmir is a great guy. Marsborn is a great team. I loved watching them play in Frag Philly. I just kind of loved the hype that was around them, and casting the first map of that BO5 that they had against Blue Jays was electric. It was amazing. Actually, I think it was the second map. I don't think it was the first map, but it was awesome. I mean, they put on a show. And Marsborn are a really, really good team, and when they are locked in, man, they are amazing. But on the other side of things, we've got I think who are the favorites, NRG, like heavily the favorites to go on and take that last spot. Because Complexity and Wildcard have made it through. NRG put up a very convincing BO3 against Wildcard, a team that during the last major did way more than anyone thought they ever would. And I really, really think NRG can come into the major and be some dark horses. I don't like. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, NRG is gonna win the major" or anything like that. Time will tell for that. But I want NRG stickers. I am a huge OC fan. I am an OC lover from the day that he joined Liquid. I watched him a little bit back on when he was on the Extra Salt roster as well. But I am a huge OC lover. I believe in OC supremacy, and I want to see him back on the stage so bad. Just because I think like, I think that energy roster has so much talent on it. I think they just need a chance to prove themselves, and I think tonight they will. I think tonight they'll get that last spot. They'll get into stage one in the major, and then they're gonna go forward and do great things. And so that's what I have. But as far as like predictions for the major go, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Falcons are going to be an interesting team to watch because they just picked up Monesi and they just won Bucharest, and it feels a little bitter, doesn't it? Right? Like sure they got Mondesi, and that's cool. Like we reunite Mondesi with Nico, but Dexter just like absolutely carried Falcons through that event, and then he gets the MVP award. But then they're like, "Oh well, sorry, brother, you're gone," because we've got Mondesi coming in, and it's so bitter. It's just like I. I love that we've reunited Mondesi and Nico, but like poor Dexter, like he had a fantastic event and then got kicked to the curb because of it. And he had a fantastic event because while knowing, like certainly he knew
Yeah.
during that event, like that this was going to be his last event playing for Falcons. So like it didn't really sit right with me. And it felt bitter, but I think Dexter is going to find a good team. I think he's going to find a good home. And we'll see if he can continue that performance that he gave in Bucharest. But as far as like actual predictions go, I just don't think anyone can beat Vitality right now. Like genuinely, I do not think anyone can beat Vitality. They are too strong, and I think FaZe is really, really stupid for letting Rops go to Vitality because they are unstoppable right now. Genuinely, they're amazing. And I am also Apex. Right behind OC is Apex as my second favorite CS player of all time, just because of how big of a personality he has, how loud he is. Like he likes to talk shit. I love that. I love that about him. Um, but not only that, he's smart. He has a great IGL. He has a lot of experience in the game. And it feels like obviously Vitality when it was the ZywOo show was really good. But it feels like it's not just the ZywOo show anymore. Like we've got Rops there. Like it feels like other people are starting to pull their weight, and like ZywOo is still being ZywOo, right? But now there's some other elements. So if ZywOo is not having a 40 bomb game, Vitality are still a serious threat to you because they've got Rops and Mezzy and Apex, who for some reason will drop a random 25 bomb every once in a while. And do they still have Flames? Yeah, they
I
have
think it's
Flames, right?
Flamesy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
Flames, Mezzy, Rops, Apex, and ZywOo.
In ZywOo, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they just have a really, really well-rounded roster. I think they're too strong, and as far as predictions go, like if barring the fact that we have no upsets or anything like that, Vitality should win this major. I think they're favorites to win it, for sure. But I think it'll be interesting because we had a little bit of roster changes. Like I said, Mondesi went to Falcons. G2 picked up Hades, which is definitely interesting. That's gonna be interesting to watch. Um, ooh, excuse me. But yeah, I don't see anybody beating Vitality.
Not even with the North American crowd behind Complexity
I
or
I I
NRG.
think I think we will get some magic. I think for sure we will get some bit of magic because we always seem to. We always seem to get a little bit of magic when the crowd is for us. But um
But they got to get out of the group
like I,
stage to play in front of the crowd too.
yes.
That's what's
y-
hard. I just
Yes.
realized.
That's what I'm thinking about is the fact that they have to get to the crowd first. It's not like once we get to the crowd, okay, then maybe I'll be like, okay, well they've got the crowd to back them. This is going to be electric. This is going to be interesting. But they have so much Counter Strike to play before they even get to that point. Um, and I just don't know. Like Complexity looked really good in that last event. Grim has been looking amazing as of recent. I don't know how much Complexity that you've been watching, but Grim has been another level, which is another development that I love because again, I love Grim. He's probably in my top 10 like favorite players of all time to watch. I loved Grim before Liquid. He was like playing star rifle roles, and I only know a lot of this because I know like I watch Flom, um, and he kind of like talks about like when people ask him questions about players, he talks about players past and where they came from, and Grim for like people that don't know, Grim was a star rifle for a while. Like he was a star rifler. He was really really good at the game, and he came into Liquid and he played anchor roles. He came into Liquid and started playing anchor roles, and I feel like that he just was kind of put in a spot that didn't really fit his play style or how he wanted to play. But like there wasn't really much to say. He was new to the scene. He was, given a chance on a tier one team, and you just kind of. I feel like it was just kind of those one of those things where you just shut up, take it, and do what you're told. Right? You play where you're told to, and you try and have fun while doing it. So it is very very nice to see Grim right now doing so well on complexity, and it is very nice to see complexity doing well without a Liege, because I know a lot of people had their doubts about that, like, oh god, a Liege is left, he's the only reason complexity was any good. But like a Liege is gone now, and complexity just put up a hell of a show in Bucharest. So like if they can if that's not just a one off, like if they can come into this next tournament and show off, right? Then we start to be like, okay, yeah, hell yeah, like we're doing some things. But yeah, I just I don't see, like, if complexity can get to the playoffs, I can see them being like, I could probably see them being like semifinalists. But no, I just don't see them beating Vitality. I don't see anybody beating Vitality.
I like your styles. If anybody that knows Big D well enough knows that Vitality's definitely been my favorite team to watch over the last 5 years since we haven't had a Cloud9 anymore. But yeah, well, I agree. I think I think it's also just really exciting to watch Vitality right now because of the fact that we really haven't had a dynasty team in Counter-Strike like since the Astralis
Yeah.
days. Like there's been good teams that make good runs, and part of that isn't necessarily, oh, there's not been a team good enough to stand out. It's there has been so many good teams that the field is
It's
really
anybody's
level.
game. Yeah, it's
Right, it's
anybody's
really
game. Yeah.
level. And that's exciting as a spectator and a lover of the sport, but like seeing Vitality do what they do now, it's like, okay, we're ready for another dynasty team to kind of switch something up here to start forcing more
Yeah.
teams to switch their play style and get a different meta going. So I'm excited about that too. Well, was gonna. What about? So let's get back to our region here.
Okay.
Which we haven't really strayed too far from, I guess, with the major being here. But how do you feel? How do you feel about our region as like season 49 of ESL Challenger League is coming to an end here. We're getting playoffs starting here soon for that. And there was a lot of speculation at the beginning of the year that this was not such a great turnout of like teams for this season. Like people felt like it was more of a second advanced league. Do you feel like that's the case, or do you like how do you feel about North America standing right now, really, is what I'm trying to get to.
So I think the main problem we have with ECL is there is a skill gap in NA that people don't like to talk about. There's a very big one. The top of like if you watch like any of the Dust 2 tournaments, anything or just like any of the tournaments that we have in NA, the lower tier ECL teams and the top tier advanced teams are much closer than the lower tier ECL teams and the top tier ECL teams, right? The top tier ECL teams are just so much better than like what we have at the bottom of ECL, that it just makes things awkward, right? It makes things really really weird, and you'll have people that form opinions like that because it's like you watch and I'll make him an example because I work for them and I love Chicken Coop to death, but you watch Chicken Coop play. Let's hold up, let me pull up HLTV really quick.
Yes, now the
We'll
stats
just
come
say
out.
NRG. Yeah, we'll just say NRG before I like pull anything up. We'll just say NRG. You see Chicken Coop play NRG, and NRG just absolutely go ham. Now, every once in a while, Chicken Coop will have like a good map against a really really good team, and you're like, okay, they show some promise, and that is the point of the lower ECL teams, is like teams that are like promising, right? But not everyone in ECL is going to be like that level, right? In Europe it is. In Europe it is a lot more competitive. But here in NA, there's a lot less to pull from. We have, we have a lot less countries. Population wise, yeah, but like our player base is not as big as Europe's is. There's just a lot less like to pull from, so we're working with a lot less. But I think if you take like the top of our ECL, right? You can see some promise in NA for sure. Like you look at teams like Marsborn and you look at teams like NRG and you look at here. Let me just pull it up because names are eluding me right now. Again, Marsborn. Um, but yeah, I think we've got some promise. I for sure don't even I don't even think that we're like that we need to be worried as much as we used to. I remember when I first like came in and started like trying to cast Counter Strike. People were worried, like we were a dying region. I won't even say people were worried that we were a dying region. We were a dying region for sure. Um, we were in the process of dying out, and I don't wanna toot my own horn or anything like that, but I think that there was something that changed, that started getting people excited about Counter-Strike, and it's orgs, like, I will glaze Marsborn to the end of the day, and I don't wanna put you on the spot, but, we obviously know that there are some very, very shitty people in the scene that like to take advantage of situations and are just in it for a quick cash grab and pull
No.
out. But it's nice to see people that own orgs, that are in it for the long run, that are here to stay, that want to improve our scene. And we've had the addition of some real talent this past year when it comes to casting. Like people are getting better at casting. We've got the addition of Trada. I came in and I think it's just like what really like Trotta and I actually talked about this. I don't know if you knew this, but I was over he stays very, very close to me. So I was actually over at his house a couple weekends ago. And we talked about this. And one of the most exciting things that I think Trotta and I have sparked is a little bit of competition between casters in NA because it's not like, what it used to be. Now it's like I don't know. It's just like there's a little bit of rival. Like everybody's trying to grab and stream games. Like the casting scene feels a little bit healthier. There are people to stream the games and stuff now, and there are people to get excited. And if you want to watch an NA game, 9 times out of 10, it is going to be streamed by somebody. Now it probably will be Trotta because he doesn't ever stop streaming. But there aren't really a lot of NA games that go uncasted anymore, and it used to be the case. Like, but I just think that there have been a lot of very, very healthy additions to the scene that have happened this year. Just that friendly bit of competition that comes, trying to cast between games and cast around people and like, okay, Trotta's doing this game, so I'm not going to do this game. I'm going to do this other game. Um, and again, I think I don't know why or how. I'm not going to question it. I'm thankful for it, but it feels like our players are starting to take it a little bit more serious too. Hey, Momo,
Yep, the cat's here. He's wants to be a part of the interview as well.
what's good, dude?
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's just so much, and I didn't. I think as a caster, I don't think too much about like what we really do for the scene. But what you said is right. Like, how are people supposed to get excited about games being played if there's nobody streaming them? So it is a really crucial part of the ecosystem to help keep it healthy and thriving. And I agree. I think there's been a ton of exciting new additions, and on top of that, I feel like most importantly, what you said, we have more org owners that are trying to do right by the scene and be in it for the long haul instead of these people that are trying to make a quick buck off of this because
Yeah,
they see that esports is making some bit of money. Like there was that bubble that was
yeah,
esports was very inflated by a lot of like different financial streams that really inflated it pretty big up until the COVID pandemic hit, and it was stayed for a little while, and then it kind of burst over the last 3 4 years. And I think that we're starting to get back to this point where people are like, okay, well, there's clearly people heavily invested in this for the long run. There's something here. So yeah, I agree. I think our region is starting to pull out of the dip because yeah, a year ago it was like, what is gonna happen here? This feels like it is
yeah.
dying, and nobody can do anything to save it. All right. Well, I think I've got one more question here for you, unless there's
Okay.
anything else Counter Strike related you wanted to lay down for the people back home. Um,
I'm not good with asking questions. I love answering them, but asking is not my thing.
yeah, I'm normally pretty good, but I feel like we've covered most of the stuff that I want to talk about. Your start in Counter Strike, how you got into casting, where Counter Strike is today in North America, and where it's headed, and the major. Yeah, that's it. All right. Guess what, Austin? It's your turn. This is the last question I ask everybody. This can be general to a younger version of yourself, to the young people at home, to older people, to the future, whatever. What kind of general advice would you like to get up on a soapbox and talk about what people should be doing to live a better life?
I think one of the biggest things that I struggled with for a while, like even before Counter Strike, like I said, I grew up. I had a little bit of a rough child. I grew up. My mother, she was a very strong addict. She was very abusive to me in my childhood, and unfortunately, a lot of I lived my life trying to please my mom, please someone who could never be pleased, and unfortunately, I had this really unhealthy way of, you know, viewing myself how other people viewed me. Other people's opinions of me were more important than my own opinion of myself. And we've talked about this, like I'm religious, but like my mom's, just like other people's opinions were what validated me. It didn't come from my, religion or God or anything or myself. It came from other people, and I was not happy if other people were not happy with me. And I think that's something that like eludes us as people. I think we all do that naturally. Like we obviously like yes, we are humans. We want to hear somebody tell us that we've done a good job, but your own self-worth should not be determined by people telling you that you're doing a good job, right? You are doing a good job. If you are alive and you are breathing right now, you are doing a good job. And sure, life sucks, and sometimes we end up on roads that we shouldn't be on, or we did something stupid, and now we've got to deal with the consequences of our own actions. Um, and that's fine. But again, it is really really important just to don't let other people's opinions of you or anything like that change the way that you think about yourself. Don't let it determine your self-worth, because at the end of the day, your head is your own. And take back your mind, let it belong to you. If you need to talk to somebody, that's another big thing. Don't be scared. Especially I know with guys, it's not like November, but I'm a big advocate for mental health in general, but I'm very, very big on men's mental health, especially because I have we as men, not all of us, but a lot of us have a tendency to be like, oh, I'm a man. I don't need to talk to anybody about my problems and stuff like that. That's sensitive. That's soft shit. I'm not going to go do that. But I know from experience that if you don't talk to somebody, if you don't have an outlet for that, um, for when stuff builds up, you will crash out. You will eventually. Eventually, it'll get to the point where you just can't hold it in anymore, and it'll all topple down on you at once, and that's just really not healthy for anybody, not just for you, but the people that are around you as well. Because when you lash out like that, you don't just hurt yourself; you hurt other people as well. 90% of the time. So um, just talk to somebody. Don't let things overwhelm you. Don't let other people's opinions of you form your own self value or anything like that. Just man, just focus on your mental health, I guess. Is that there's a lot to say, and words are kind of eluding me right now, but whether it be in esports or school or work or anything like that, just value your mental health. Take care of yourself in your own headspace, because if you're not healthy up there, you're not going to be healthy anywhere else. So
That was beautiful, man. Thank you. That's really well said. Well, thank you for joining me. I can guarantee that this is probably not the last time we'll have. Someday we'll start bringing back double people on. People will make a second appearance on Laying It Down. And I imagine you'll be one of the first to come around for that. So I really appreciate you coming on here. Thanks for everything you do for the scene. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed. That's going to be it.